Do you think the 16th arrondissement is a boring part of town?
Yes.
Do you think it's just for posh people walking posh dogs on posh leashes?
Well, yes.
Well, you're a boring person yourself.
Oh, no.
The 16th arrondissement is actually a really cool part of town. And I think its reputation has been somewhat tarnished by people like me 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Saying that
And
there's
had
nothing
you
there.
even stepped foot
I don't
in
think
the
I'd ever
16th?
been there. I still want to go.
You're like, it's too far. I'm not
But
going to...
now we spend 24 hours there and we found a lot of cool stuff. In this episode of the Paris Countdown, where Lena and I are spending 24 hours in every single arrondissement, working from 20 to 1, we found incredibly stunning Art Nouveau buildings, delicious cocktails. In fact, you're going to hear from one of the top cocktail bar owners in the world.
The world.
The world in this
Yes.
episode. You're going to hear from him. We even discovered a restaurant that was once a train station.
Well, la-dee-da.
Exactly. And a lot more on this intriguing district of Paris, including our scores, which I've got to say featured 4 out of 5 surprises
Definitely.
for me. But this is going to be a fun episode. I hope you enjoy it. You're listening to the Earful Tower. My name's Oliver G.
I'm Lena Norden G.
And I think what we need is a little music.
I'm loving the new music this season,
Loving the new music. That is the work of Press Maxon.
What a guy.
Return offender. He did last week's music as well. This guy is a musical savant. We can talk about more.
He's a one-man band.
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, I was going to say we can talk more about him at the end of the episode, but heck.
Let's just do it now.
He,
He's like, you know the guy from Mary Poppins?
Dick Van Dyke,
There you go.
his character. Yeah. Why is he like him?
Well, he's in one-man band, you know,
Oh,
he's
yeah,
like
yeah.
playing
He's
all the
exactly
things.
like
And that's
So-
how I picture him coming up with the music.
Well, he told me that for the last 2 songs, he just listens to them a couple times and then picks up all the different instruments and starts
He's
playing.
a savant.
It's his take
Yeah.
on Douce France
Very good.
by Charles Trenet. Charles Trenet. And that was the choice for this week because the 16th arrondissement is the sweet life.
It is, the good life.
Before we get into what we saw, I need to make a shock announcement. I was particularly taken by the older women in the 16th.
How so?
When I say taken, I was kind of like fascinated by them. In the whole of Paris, I mean this, in the whole of Paris, I haven't seen any replication of this anywhere else.
No, it's a trend. It's a phenomenon.
Yeah, I'm talking
Yep.
about, well, you work in fashion. Maybe you can explain better what I'm talking about.
Okay, well, I think the type of lady that you might have in mind is the lady who has a specific type of haircut, an expensive kind. They got the fur. They got the nice little shoes, the Ferragamo shoes. Usually, they have the little
What shoes? What did you say?
Ferragamo. It's
What's
like a
that?
brand.
Oh.
Typical for these ladies.
Yeah.
You got the little Chanel bag, but you know, not the flashy kind.
What is
And you
that?
got the pearls.
What do you mean, not the flashy kind? So, like, understated.
Very understated.
So I just looked at them and I saw them. I was like, it's clear that you're very wealthy.
Yeah.
It's clear that you're like.
And you got the dog.
Yeah.
You got the dog to match.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I lived in Milan for a year when I was studying, and in Milan they have this specific word. They call it the squira. I can't really pronounce it.
Squira. Squira.
And it's a local slang for wealthy and fashionable
Right.
older lady.
Right.
You know, with the fur, the hair, the dog.
Well, that's what these ladies are, but the French
Exactly.
version. I bet there's a word for it.
Exactly. I bet there is. We just don't know yet.
One of them stopped me as well. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Because
do.
I was thinking at the time it'd be cool to have an Instagram account just of these women.
Yeah.
Because they kind of walk. A lot of them are hobbling. You know what I mean? Like they had high heels on or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, one of them stopped me because she'd forgotten the code to get into her own building. Was that what happened? I can't remember. She just stopped me on the street. She's like, "Do you know the code to get in?" I think maybe she was unfortunately she had dementia or something.
Yeah,
maybe.
I think so.
And I was like, I don't know, but we got chatting, and she sort of really livened up, and she grabbed me by the arm and
She was very intense.
Yeah, and she told me her name, and it was like one of those. It was like I
It
don't
was like
remember.
a page filler.
It was like Maria. I was going to do an Italian. It was like Marie Dominique de le Comtesse de
Exactly. A lot of
yeah.
a lot of laws.
Yeah. Anyway, there are a lot of these ladies walking by, but that's not what we're here to talk about. And I can't believe we talked about it so much.
I know, we're just fascinated by them.
Let's tell the lovely people about our trip in the 16th. And what we figured, because this is probably, I'd say certainly the most expensive arrondissement in town, we figured that we'd live like a local. I don't think you really have any choice but to go to the nice bars, the nice restaurants, and a nice hotel. So let's start with the hotel, because I think we had a good one here.
Yeah.
This place is called Sourire.
Sourire.
Like a smile.
Yes.
And it's a boutique hotel. And
it's a whole building.
Like this red brick, charming, unusual.
Yes, it reminded. It felt like it belonged more on Place de. What do you call Place de Vosges?
Place de Vosges.
In style, you know, you got the red brick,
yeah.
the towering roofs,
and yet because it wasn't like uniform with anything else.
No,
like
it
Place de
stood
Vosges,
out.
everything is the same.
Yeah.
This is like it's like
but it's kind of like the little sister building that got lost.
So funny that you said that. I was going to say cousin.
Really?
The estranged cousin
that
went to live in the
lost, and
60s.
they were just like, oh,
and
I'm
it's
here now.
it's on the corner. It's a very thin building. They got a rooftop garden terrace, which we didn't see because they're renovating it. But it was nice. It was chic. And we had this
great.
blue bedroom, really beautiful.
Such a friendly welcome as well.
Yes, Ilham, her name was. Really lovely.
It really felt like you were welcomed into a home.
It was a home, yeah. It was a home. You know what it would be perfect for? If, for example, you're ever to do like all expenses paid for holidays, you book out the whole thing.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
Yep. That's what we...
Okay,
maybe
well...
there's an idea.
Okay.
Get in touch if you think that's an idea. That would be cool. Yeah. But anyway, the Sourire Hotel, really pleasant. It was a pleasant place. Comfortable, lovely, pretty.
And the design, really cool.
Yeah, especially in those common rooms.
Yeah.
We'll share a bunch of pictures of that. We did this one a little bit differently because we got there early. They gave us an early check-in and Otis was sleeping. So I went on a museum jaunt.
Yes.
By myself.
I was the babysitter.
Yeah. So I figured what we could do is I went to 3 museums.
Yeah.
And I'll do this sort of quick fire round, but you can, prod me and probe me if you have any questions about them.
You can also ask me if you know about the babysitting.
Yeah.
Not as much to talk about there, maybe. No, let's go with the museums. So let's start. Which one did you go to first?
Balzac.
Balzac. And let's just start with the basics. Who is Balzac or was?
Honoré de Balzac, a very prolific writer. It was his house. I'd seen this place before. Really cool Eiffel Tower view.
It's got a garden, right?
Really nice garden. You can look down on it as you're walking past. This has been on my bucket list forever. And I'm really glad that I made it in because I'll paint the picture. We haven't really even talked about this.
No, not really.
Really typical Paris museum of someone's home. And I like these museums. There's a good Victor Hugo one. In Place de Vosges,
yeah.
But it's that kind of vibe. Like you see how he used to live. A lot of people will tell stories about. I think there was 2 exits, one so he could get out without paying his taxes. All these extra stories.
Yeah.
But
people love these stories.
Yeah, but for me it wasn't. I really just liked the place and the garden, and they have a coffee shop, like a little cafe. Nothing special, but I think if you wanna buy a book there, sit there and read, you should do that. I'd recommend that place.
Oh, that's nice.
You go in there and he was another of these prolific Parisians with friends in high places. So you get like Picasso was sketching out some of his books for him and those sketches are on the wall. He had a very, what I would call a pimp cane.
A pimp cane?
This
what
beautiful,
does that mean?
I took pictures of it. This beautiful big cane that I think he used. You can imagine this guy by his cane.
I'm just picturing like a big, I don't know, diamond or ruby at the top.
It was kind of like that, yeah. I think what's cool about these museums compared to the Louvre, for example, is you can do a get in, get out and not feel ashamed about it. You could go in and spend 3 hours in there, or you can go in like I did and spend, I was probably there half an hour max, but you could do 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You like get the gist of.
Get the gist, catch a glimpse.
So get the gist is what I did at all these 3. So the next one I went to was the wine museum. Kind of weird. I mean, if you're really into wine, go. There are some cool things like
you did a wine tasting as well.
Yeah,
no?
you pay an extra. You pay an extra couple of euros and they give you a wine. And I must have been a pretty weird customer because I was like, I'm really sorry, I'm going to be really quick in here.
But give me everything.
Well, yeah. He goes, do you want to pay the extra for the glass of wine? I was like, I'm never going to drink it. And I thought, I've got this mentality lately. I want to do this season right. Also, I'm very conscious of supporting small businesses that have struggled for a couple of years. I'm like, why am I not paying extra €4 for a glass of wine?
Yeah.
So I said to the guy, just pour a little bit of wine and save your wine, but I'll take it. He's like, what are you doing, man? This is
you want to get the full experience, but like concentrated.
Yeah. So I did the run through, and the museum was cool because it's in the cave, like the cellars. It's cool because there's corkscrews and old signs for like wine shops and stuff like that.
Okay, all right. So if you're really into wine, this is for you.
If you're into wine, you're going to love it. And it's just on a street called Rue Charles Dickens, which I like that.
That's not bad.
Enjoyed that.
Yeah.
But the other museum I was a huge fan of, Musée de Georges Clemenceau. What do you know about this character?
Nada.
Okay, great moustache, great eyebrows. And this podcast isn't about explaining who this guy is. But the 10-second version, politician, journalist, writer, artist,
a
traveler.
Renaissance man.
Yeah, yes. What I liked about this museum and not the house one, first, main thing, best desk I've ever seen. Best desk I've ever seen.
Okay.
Curved, like ornate wooden polished desk that curves around. So if you sit in the desk, you know what it'd be like? It'd be like if you work... What I imagine it's like to work at NASA or something, where you got a control panel all around you, but
like 20 screens.
Yeah,
20
but 100
screens?
years ago.
Yeah, okay.
So
20 pieces of paper.
Well, there were things on it. I don't know if he kept it like this, but they were like magnifying. It was like a Poirot scene, something for you.
Oh,
yeah. So
love that.
like a letter opener. There were shells on it. They'd
suspicious knives.
Yeah,
in odd
suspicious.
places. Okay.
The whole thing was like a set. It was cool. It was a really cool house.
I need to go.
And they had good little, like, I was a fan of, they had a letter he sent to Monet, who was his mate. He was also in all the arts. He'd sent a letter to Monet, like, hey, I'm going to Greece if you want to come. Because he was a traveler, a big traveler. He said the French don't travel enough.
Yeah.
There was a letter that he tried to send to his wife in English that they had. I thought that was cool too.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't want to go on about the museums, but they were that was a fun way of seeing the 16th.
Visit worthy. Yeah.
If I had to order them for people.
Oh yeah, which one makes the top?
I think you have to go to the Balzac one first because the view and the outdoor and the garden, it's really pleasant. On a nice day, it'd be worth tops, you know. And then Clemenceau, and then the wine museum. Anyway, that was my jaunt.
Great. You got a lot done in a nap time.
I know. That's doing museums quickly is really fun. For anyone who's coming to Paris with limited time, which I think most people listening to the show are, don't be afraid to do it.
Yeah.
Get in and get out and just like overdose on culture.
That.
Yeah.
I mean,
you do that sometimes.
Yeah, I really like that. Going to museums can be really tiring, and you get museum legs.
The Louvre legs.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a thing.
And you're just so tired and exhausted.
You don't have to see everything.
But doing this speed version is actually really energizing. You come out of it, and you're like, oh wow, I just got an injection of culture.
You move so quickly that like you move the dust off all the old...
wow.
Yeah. Especially in like Clemenceau, like these places that are old houses. I want to do a shout out. The reason that the Clemenceau landed on my radar is when I went into the catacombs half a year ago. The guy that was leading the expedition was also a street artist, Codex Urbanus or Urbanus.
Oh, we saw some of his art up in Montmartre.
Yes, I think you made that exact same thing. Anyway,
I'm so lame.
He had an exhibition of his art in the Clemenceau Museum, and they did it really subtly and unobtrusively. Like they put some of his paintings like poking out the top of a book on a bookshelf. You know, so you could find it or on a cushion on a sofa or something. So I thought that was really cool. I thought it was cool that the museum was up for that because French museums can be a little bit
amazing.
Yeah. So anyway, shout out to Codex if you're listening. I'm sure our other catacomb friend is listening. The Comte of Saint-Germain. Loyal listener. Hello, Comte.
Hello.
By the time we got back, baby had woken up and we went for lunch.
We were hungry.
You guys want a good restaurant tip? You're about to get 2 because lunch and dinner were great.
Yeah.
In terms of the restaurant, the lunch place that we went to, Andia, Andia, I don't know how I'm spelling it. It's all in the show notes and on the blog and on the YouTube channel everywhere. But this place was cool.
Yeah, is unexpectedly cool.
And I don't mean cool in a way that like a hipster place is cool. I mean like, I think a 60-year-old would call it cool. You know?
Yeah.
Like it was
just... No, but it was impressive.
Yeah.
It was.
It was to set the scene. So it's it used to be a railway station. So picture in your head a railway station where you go down the steps to get in, right? Yeah. like a typical metro station. Yeah.
Exactly.
You walk down the steps to get in, and there's 2 platforms, ticket booth on either side. This is 60 years ago, you're imagining it, right? Now, blink, open your eyes again. In the place of the tracks, right, all tables. In the place of the platforms, it's where a few tables, but where the waiters are walking up and down.
Yeah, and like different kitchen stations as well.
Yes, and the main ticket booth is where the main kitchen was. Another ticket booth is where the bar was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's got this... Like, if you didn't know it, you might not realize it was a train station, but if you're standing there and you're looking at it, and they haven't done this in a gimmicky way.
Not at all. They didn't even play on the fact that it was like an old station and gimmicky.
Whereas a lot of these kind of gimmicky things totally go in on it. They're like, eat like you're on a train station. Like, they have a train in the corner.
Yeah, they were like, get your metro ticket here. You can eat it too.
You wouldn't even know it was a train station unless you knew. Like, you wouldn't pick it. But when you see it, like, if you guys ever go in there, look at it and you'll appreciate it a lot. And on top of everything, firstly, looked beautiful because it had an open sky, like a window on the roof ceiling.
Yeah,
so it was
a huge one. It was very bright,
brilliant.
Lots of plants everywhere. It's really warm.
We took lots of videos and pictures if you're struggling to picture it from our definitions here. But also the food was excellent.
Yeah.
Like really delicious food.
Super attentive staff.
Yeah, wow, they were really good. So that place is 10 out of 10. Easily one of the most memorable places.
It was great.
I've eaten in. Then at dinner, we went to... This is kind of cool. Have you noticed that a lot of the... as we're traveling through these districts, there are a lot of there are a lot of links between the places that we stayed. Whether they're totally random, like what I'm about to say. This is the second restaurant we ate in called the Rotonde.
Yeah, that's true.
And I know there are others in Paris.
Yeah.
The other link in the bathroom of the hotel was the same Renoir painting from the restaurant, the Moulin de la Galette.
It's all connected.
Yeah, it's all connected.
It's a big conspiracy.
It's fun how it's all connecting like this. But anyway, the restaurant was called Rotonde. The waiter was telling us like over 100 years old, this sort of classic bistro, but redesigned with this wooden interior, very beautiful, very charming.
Yeah, it felt like a ship.
Yeah.
And I think that was the intention as well from the designers.
Really nice place.
Especially love the seats. It was all covered in like the thickest velvet I've ever felt. Really thick velvet. And all the marble was from Versailles. That's right. Which was pretty cool.
Then it was time for a cocktail. And what we've been doing so far during these visits is we've been having, like last week in the 17th, contrasting. Cheap and cheerful, high-end cocktail.
Yeah. So something for everyone or, whatever you're in the mood for.
Not this week. This week we went the opposite direction.
It's hard to find cheap and cheerful in 16, to
I
be
wonder
honest.
if there even are any. There must be.
There must be something.
Yeah, of course there are. But we didn't
It's very hard to find.
And I'm going to do something that we haven't done yet. But I'm going to slam a place. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel confident in doing this. Anyone that's listened to this show for more than 5 minutes know that it's very rare that I do this. But one of the places on my bucket list, the things I really wanted to try in Paris, was to go for a cocktail at Shangri-La.
Yeah.
Fancy hotel.
5-star hotel.
Yeah, very expensive to stay the night. I looked at the prices because I was like, I wonder if we should stay there.
Sweating?
I wondered if we should stay there for this. It was like 3,000 or 4,000 euros.
Okay, no, thank you.
But I've always wanted. I like the fancy hotels to see the bars. This little taste of luxury for 30 euros.
Yeah.
Didn't think much of it.
Tell me why.
Didn't think much of it. I mean, firstly, I felt like I was ridiculed by the bartender.
Yeah. He was definitely he was kind of like a bully.
I feel like it's weird. Like
very pretentious.
I feel almost like I feel guilty to say this because maybe he'll end up hearing this or something. But he made me feel bad in front of all my friends who I invited for this special occasion. And he said to me, I'll tell you, you guys can be the judge.
Do digress.
He says, firstly, the hotel's lovely. You go and it's just beautiful. If you want to stay there, be their guest. The bar was pretty nice, but it wasn't like Le Maurice, which I just think is one of the best I've ever seen in the world.
I didn't really. I mean, yeah, it's nice enough, but it's just like one sort of square room, really high ceiling.
It's much smaller than I thought too.
Yeah, it wasn't as cozy, or I hoped for more nooks and crannies, or grand. I don't know.
No nooks, no crannies. Like at the Ritz, the Hemingway bar.
Yeah.
Lots of nooks, lots of crannies.
Yeah.
Like you feel like you could have a private drink.
Exactly.
Anyway, so the guy says to me, I was like, I'm going to try something different. I love trying new things, different things, going out of my comfort zone. And I said, I'm going to have this one that I just picked a random one. The guy goes, how do you like your dry martinis? And I said, to be honest, I never really had a dry martini, so I don't know. What do you think? And he said, well, I'm not going to make you this drink because you won't like it. And I was like, but I want it. He goes, no, I'm not going to have you drink something you don't like in my bar. I was like, what? That's what I want. And he literally wouldn't let me have it.
He wouldn't serve it to you.
And it was more than that, but it was that kind of mood. And I was like, okay, I'll have whatever I'm allowed to have.
So you ended up like with a boring old gin and tonic.
I had a Heineken beer. No, but the place is all right, but I didn't,
I mean, maybe, you could also argue the opposite, and he really wanted you to have a good experience and, really good customer service.
I'm good at picking up on vibes. But there was a weird vibe there.
Yeah.
I've got to be honest.
Yeah, there was a bit of a vibe.
Yeah.
There was tension in the air. I don't know why.
There shouldn't be tension.
Yeah, but there was.
Yeah, but as a result...
Tension was present. It was the sixth member of our party. Seventh, maybe.
I'm going to say it honestly. I wouldn't recommend going there for a drink.
Nah,
I wouldn't.
There are better places.
If the bar was magnificent.
I mean, it's a really good place, but I don't know.
You said it looked like a place for fuddy-duddies. That's what you said.
What?
Yeah, I said the same. I said, what's a fuddy-duddy? But I'm going to give you guys a way better tip for a cocktail, which is the other one that we went to. And it's a bar called Cravan. Cravan. Maybe we can talk about our thoughts after, because I had the fortune of speaking to the owner, Franck Audou, and he opened it fairly recently. It's situated in this beautiful Hector Guimard building. The interior is listed, heritage listed, so they haven't changed it since 1911, except for liquor paint on the white bits between the beautiful pictures. This is going to be hard to describe, really. You have to see it. So as luck would have it, this is also where we brought the photographer, Augusta, who took some stunning images earlier in the day. So you can check them out on the site. But here's my interview with Franck about the neighborhood and about his bar. Take a listen. Let's begin with the 16th arrondissement. I want to know a bit more about this district. It's enormous, right?
Yeah, it's quite enormous.
So when you're do you walk around much? Do you explore, or are you sort of no?
Not really. It's quite particular for you at Cravan, because the idea is I create a real destination. I mean, that's the idea, to be a destination. I live in Paris for a long time now, and I'm not really attached to one district. I always move in Paris, so I love the idea to cross the city, to go to have a coffee somewhere, to cross the city back, to have a drink somewhere else, and so.
And are you finding that with the customers who come to Cravan, are they typically from all over the city?
Our customer has three different type of customer. First, we have all the customer from the west of Paris. I mean, not 16, but west of Paris, I should say. After is more touristic, and in the third time, I should say the rest of the city. But the 16 for me is not. To be honest, I don't know very well the districts, the area. I choose this place to tell a story, because what I do is a cocktail bar, but the most important for me is to give sense to the things I do and to tell a story. And when I saw this place, for me it was the perfect place to tell a story.
And is that, you mentioned before Hector Guimard, the Pope of Art Nouveau.
Yep.
Are you a fan of his? Is that what drew you to this place?
Hector Guimard is quite important in architecture, even if the Art Nouveau has been really disappeared very quickly with Art Deco and so, and nobody really knew the importance of the Art Nouveau. But now, and more people knew how big was this movement. One time I make some research about Guimard and so. And in 1971, I remember 1971, if I'm not confused with the date, in 1971, there will be an exhibition in MoMA in New York about Hector Guimard. Here, in the same time, in Paris, they destroy all the villas he built And a lot of also subway station, there's few of them in Paris, but a lot of them has been destroyed.
Wow, that's kind of incredible. And to describe this bar where we're sitting, I mean, Guimard designed the building, that much is for sure.
Yeah, it's from the back of the cafe bar is a cafe bar from 1911. Hector Guimard designed the lotissement, the buildings, named Ajar, from a famous actress at the time. So it's a cafe bar from 1911. The interior design not signed by Hector Guimard, by different other artists, but so there is different movement. The space is like it was in 1911, and the ceiling, the painting, the mirror is for the time.
So if we talk about cocktails of today a little bit, are you personally, have you got like a deep interest in cocktails and exploring the new things?
Yeah, Cravon is quite particular. When we open, we receive a lot of awards and so we have a lot of press, and so here we are very focused of course, the balance, of course, because it's the first point, but about the flavor, the taste, the flavor, and we use only 3 ingredients. We take care about the glassware. There is no fancy garnish. It's very quite radical proposition. Focus on the drinks and on the flavor, and so that's also the duality we can find in a place from 1911. So with a lot of legacy and a cocktail very pure, very quite radical and focused idea of gastronomic liquid from the past, but with cocktail for the next.
What are the cocktails you're proud of here? When I visit, what should I drink?
There is a cocktail named Yellow, focused on bitterness. That was the idea to make a cocktail about bitterness. We have also Royal Basilic. It's an idea very far from the Key Royal. It's just infusion of flower of basil, dry flower of basil from Sicilia. And the idea of this cocktail, we have 3-4 of them. We have a series, but very focused on let's say, naturalities, flower, herbs. And it's just an infusion, the champagne, to have something different, but always elegant and
This sounds like high-tech stuff.
Yeah, that's the idea.
And is it expensive? What does a cocktail cost? What does yellow cost?
Yellow is 15 euro.
Okay.
The Royal is 12 euro.
Yeah, that's reasonable. I would have imagined that in the 16th that everything was a little bit more expensive than everywhere else.
Yeah, maybe, I'm quite sure, but we are not in this kind of establishment.
So you have a storied past in restaurants. You were in the 11th. You're on the other side. My former career was in restaurant, gastronomic restaurant, and so in the 11th district, and when we opened this place in 2006, 11th district was not what it is now. Right.
And with my idea to break the rules, now the east of Paris, a lot of places open in this area, and it's very personal. But for me, it's a lot of rules now, a lot of codes, and with my idea to break the rule, it was, of course, the first thing to do was to open to the opposite of the other people.
So you come to this side of Paris. You're sitting with, it's a leather jacket. You're the bad boy of the 16th, making the cocktails.
I don't know, but the idea was to be where people don't expect you will be. Before the place to be was more in west of Paris. Now we move, and after it's always moving, Actually, to be honest, I think the movement in Paris is quite slow compared to other cities. So that's why I see there's always a movement from east to west, west to north, south, and so on. But it takes time in Paris.
But speaking of time, anyone out there listening who has the time to come to the 16th arrondissement should come to Cravon.
Yep.
And have a cocktail and say hello. If they see you, should they say, hello, Frank, I heard you on the show?
Yeah, definitely. You will be very welcome.
Lovely guy. So you met him as well?
Yeah, really cool guy.
And we had the exact drinks that he recommended.
I had the basil champagne infusion. It was delicious.
You know what I liked about Frank?
Yeah.
Franck?
Franck?
When I said, I think I want this one, he served it to me.
So refreshing.
Yeah, it was refreshing as well. But really lovely guy, and it was cool to check out that place. It's a cafe during the day as well, so everyone can go check it out. It's even nice to just look at if you're not in the market for a cocktail. I'm
a big fan of this place, and I love it's tiny, and like half of the bar is a bar. It's the actual bar desk.
Yeah.
And then you have all these like glass paneled paintings on the walls and all cracked, and it's amazing.
Intricate details.
Yeah.
So the interior apparently wasn't designed by Hector Guimard, who you guys are about to hear more from in a second. Well, not Hector himself, but his work. But like it was his mates. He was sort of like, hey mate, you got a good style. You do the awnings and stuff like that. So there's this real Art Nouveau feel in there. And that leads us perfectly to our final topic, because we crashed that night. The next morning, we did what I like to call the hunt for Hector. This is where Lena gets dragged into my unusual fascinations with random details of architecture in Paris. You love it, don't you?
I love it.
Yeah, you love it. What have we had so far? We've had
things.
stone guards on the door knockers.
Yeah, the
doors.
Chasse-roue.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Philippe Auguste wall.
Oh, Philippe Auguste.
That's a standing one.
Yeah.
Well, in some parts.
And
now,
another
old Hector.
So for those of you who are sitting there thinking, I don't care about Hector Guimard, you're wrong, actually.
Because you might.
He's this, in the words of Franck, the Pope of Art Nouveau. He essentially built buildings that don't really fit in with the rest of Paris. Like when you look at them, you're like, too fancy, too obscure, too ornate. And there's several streets in the 16th arrondissement that we tracked down all the work that he'd done. And there's probably, gosh, I don't know, 4 or 5 of them there. That whole block where Cravon is all his work. And if you walk around it, I should do a little map to share with people, but like if you walk around that building, you can see like even the water spouts are rich with detail.
Highly decorated.
The street signs are done in this Art Nouveau style.
Yeah, they're different.
Yeah. And of course the famous one is Castel Béranger, which ranked at the time the most beautiful facade in Paris, and very different.
And it's just a residential house now, right?
Yeah, but it's very different. Like when I say most beautiful facade, I remember when I first saw it, I was kind of shocked because I was expecting something like it was more, like these blue.
Yeah, the gates.
Yeah, the gate on the front it's almost like harsh. Like it's almost I guess it's a gate, so it's meant to stop you from coming in, but it's probably not what you imagine when I say.
I feel like the whole thing looks like something out of Lord of the Rings, from something elfish, but weird, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm with you on that. Yeah, there's a bunch of the buildings. We'll share all the information for how you can find it, and the photographer took a bunch of pictures of this stuff too, so we've got it all to share with you. But I also want to do a shout out that a little while ago I did a tour of the Art Nouveau in the 16th arrondissement with Delphine Brière, who's a long-time listener of this show, and she lives in the 16th, and she took me for a walk, and we did it as a walk for Patreon members. I think it went for like 2 hours. She knows the district comme sa poche, like her pocket, like the back of her hand. And in that video, we snuck into that lobby of the Castel Béranger and several other places. So for Patreon members, I'll link that this week as a little extra bonus, an unlisted YouTube video. And as well, we've made up like a kind of a scroll of the extras that we found, including an itinerary for how to spend 24 hours in the 16th, thanks to Eddie, the graphic designer, aka the editor. But look, before we wind up our time in the 16th, have you written your scores?
I sure have.
Okay, well, let's share them.
Okay.
While Lena's grabbing her scores, just a refresher, we rank out of 10 this district on 5 criteria, so that at the end we're going to figure out which is the best arrondissement. And the rule is if we differ by more than 2, we're going to have to...
We have to discuss.
Yeah.
And if not...
Can we ever change our scores?
Leave it be.
There's no changing.
Well, apparently not. I've tried every week so far.
I feel almost certain that there's going to be at least one where we differ by more than 2 points.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay, so...
I never agree with myself.
You never agree with yourself?
Well,
I feel like you're not taking this serious.
Kind of woman. Spur of the moment.
All right, what did you put for strollability?
I put an 8.
Me too. That was easy. Very strollable.
Yeah, definitely.
Easy.
Lots to see.
Plus the river. Affordability. How affordable was it? What did you put?
1.
Me too.
No.
I also put 1. We never see eye to eye on this.
Crazy. Okay.
It was expensive. Everything was...
Yeah. As we said, I mean, we couldn't really find like a cheap and cheerful bar.
No. The meals... The bars, the hotel, even the coffee, I think. The coffee shop, the only coffee shop we found was in the Grande Épicerie. It was Katoum. Shout out to Katoum.
Yeah.
But like that
Great coffee.
Great coffee. And the prices of the coffee were about standard, but
Yeah.
it was in the Grande Épicerie, which is an expensive place for everything else. So yeah, it was pricey. Shareability.
8.
Me too.
No.
Yeah.
This is unheard of.
This is unheard of. If we get the next
What?
two, the same.
I'm getting nervous. You? I'm very nervous.
What did you put for touristability?
I put a 7.
Oh, wrong.
Oh.
I put a 6. I mean, there was a lot of tourist stuff, but there wasn't.
Okay, I feel like you're very stingy now. You are forgetting one of the best museums in Paris.
I visited 3.
No, but we visited one together after the drinks, remember?
yeah, we
or
didn't
maybe
mention
you
it.
didn't remember that.
It was that bartender poisoned me,
Oh
not
my
Franck, the other one.
God.
The Palais de Tokyo.
That's right. I love that place.
That was cool.
I mean, just,
Can I change my score?
No, no, it's set in stone.
Well, what's your brief sum up of Palais de Tokyo?
Well, I love it because they have lots of different exhibitions going on there all the time. It's changing. It's a really inspiring place.
And that was fun because we ditched our friends at the cocktail bar at like 11:30 to get into the Palais de Tokyo.
Exactly.
Before. It's cool that it was open till midnight.
I love a night at the museum.
You know what?
At the
It was.
movie.
I think I said this in a previous episode, but it once again reminded me of those early days we were in Paris where we used to do that, like just run
Young
into a
and
museum
carefree.
without a babysitter. Thanks,
Shout out.
Thanks, Julene.
Yes. Yeah, so that was really cool. And I mean, it doesn't hurt that the Eiffel Tower is just like across the Seine,
Good
and
Eiffel
it's an
Tower views.
amazing view.
And we did have that nice little Seine stroll as well,
Yes.
taking some pictures of the 15th
So,
across
I
the
mean,
river.
I feel like you're being a bit stingy with your tourist ability.
Well, what did you put for accessibility?
6.
Me too. Whoa, such similar scores this
No
week.
way.
Okay, no need to explain that. So
Okay.
mine came to a total of 29, yours must have been 30.
Indeed.
That makes 59.
Not bad.
That's a good
Not
score.
great, but not bad.
Well, it was the affordability that
yeah,
ruined it.
really brought it down. But that's part of it.
I've got to say, in this season so far, I've been thrilled with I'd say viral. The viral reception of the episodes. On Facebook, they're all going crazy. I'm doing all these extra blog posts. The episodes are going up.
I know, it's so exciting. There's so much interaction. There's so much going on.
I would hazard a guess that we've never had such positive feedback.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to pat ourselves on the back and read any of it out, but we do read it all and we're very grateful.
Yeah.
So thank you. A few big thanks to put out. Charlotte Pleasance,
Research
and additional reporting.
That's right.
Augusta for the photos, Augusta Sagnelli. Julian the babysitter. Lena the co-host.
Oliver the host.
Eddie the editor. But mostly, as always, a huge thank you to the Patreon supporters. Patreon.com/the Earful Tower, where for $10 a month, or less or more, but $10 is where I'd suggest people sign up. You get access to a lot of bonus stuff, including my guide and guides to the city. But mostly this season, you make it happen.
Yeah.
Like
Without you,
Yeah.
no Earful Tower.
Especially this episode, which was probably, you know what? Probably the biggest budget episode we've ever done.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so that's what the Patreon, all that I've just said, that's what happened. We're not taking freebies at all. In fact,
And we're being brutally honest.
I'll tell you something. I turned down a freebie. In an upcoming episode, someone tried to give me something. I was like, no, I'm paying for this.
Don't want to be bribed.
Yes. So thanks to the Patreon supporters. If you're getting a lot of info out of this and you feel like it's worth $10, sign up for a month. Then delete your pledge. People do it. I, of course, would much rather you hang around for a little while. And with that in mind, I set it up so that you can pay for the whole year and you get 2 months for free. So check that out. Patreon.com/the Earful Tower. And I'm proud to say we're not going to go on about it any more than that.
That's it.
Next week, the 15th arrondissement. We've already visited.
Yeah, we have some high-flying plans.
Well, almost high-flying
and some
plans.
low-flying results.
Yeah. We get some cool stories and we found some really fun places. So be sure to check that out next week. Otherwise, in the coming days, we're going to share YouTube video, blog posts, several. We've got all these
plural.
beautiful pictures of the Hector Guimard, the bar that we went to, and so on. And follow along on social media. That will do it for us. Oh, I can already hear the music from Prez Maxon coming in. Wonder what he'll come up with next week.
À bientôt.
À bientôt tout le monde, and have a lovely week.